Extreme! Extreme's self-titled debut album was released on March 14, 1989 by A&M Records. Bob St. John was the main engineer on this project alongside Nigel Green. The band consisted of Gary Cherone on lead vocals, Paul Geary on drums, Pat Badger on bass, and Nuno Bettencourt on guitar. They all took part in the recording of background vocals, and Nuno took on another job by helping mix the album. This album reached number 80 on the Billboard 200 and produced the minor mainstream rock hit Kid Ego. On the 7th of August in 1990, Extreme released their second album entitled Pornograffiti. This one was also on A&M Records, and Bob St. John stayed as their engineer. It was produced and mixed by Michael Wagner and Nuno Bettencourt. On this album, they had a big hit called More Than Words, which was not very extreme.
More Than Words was so big that it's like, Jesus, they must be the Everly Brothers, you know, the 90s version of that. And it's too bad, you know, the people that buy the record, Extreme Records, know what Extreme is.
They had more hits on this album like Wholehearted, and songs like Decadence Dance and Get the Funk Out became very popular on MTV's Headbangers Ball. Next up we got Three Sides to Every Story, released September 22nd, 1992, on the same label as previous records. This one is considered a concept album because of its three sides. A reason the album is broken up into sides is kind of funny, but I'll let Pat tell you why.
The reason why we have a three-sided record is due to the fact that we had too much material for two sides of a record and not quite enough for a double album.
Nuno produced with the engineer Bob St. John, and the production for this album was pretty crazy. They had a 70-piece orchestra that they recorded for the last side of the album. 3 years later, on February 7th, Extreme released Waiting for the Punchline, an A&M release that featured Mike Mangini from Dream Theater on drums. This is when the original drummer Paul Geary started to lose interest in music making. Mangini finished the record where Paul left off. The overall sound of the album was influenced by grunge and was not a great time for the band. After the tour, Nuno informed the band that he wanted to pursue a solo career, and Gary Cherone joined Van Halen as frontman. Extreme reunited in 2007, and on August 12, 2008, they released Saudades de Rock on Frontiers Records. It is unknown who the engineer was on this one, but Nuno was the producer for it. This is the first Extreme record to feature Kevin Figueredo on drums, and he remains their drummer up till now. This album strays away from the grunge influence of Waiting for the Punchline. That's all their albums up to date, and apparently they're going to be releasing a new album pretty soon. Stay tuned and rock on.
I